Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Friday, May 31st, 2013. Thank you all for tuning in today. Let's jump right into the charts here. We'll start off with the usual S&P 500 E-mini futures. What you'll see here is that the futures are trading lower by about 8.5 points. They were even lower than that around, I guess it was around 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, around 5:30 in the morning. However, they have bounced back a little bit. Again, futures coming under pretty good pressure today. It looks like the Japanese market is one of the catalysts out here. You did have Japan trading higher last night by about 1.3%, but then after Japan's market closed, Japanese futures, Nikkei 225 futures just tumbled. And that is definitely causing the problems. Yesterday, if you watched the video I shot in the morning, I talked about the dollar-yen chart, and you can see today the dollar-yen has really, the yen has really strengthened against the dollar, and you can see how the dollar has fallen against the yen. That is probably the most significant relationship I can find. Here you see the dollar strengthening against the yen. And if you just take a quick glance at the futures, you'll see that the futures are coming off their low. So, again, keep that yen chart up, dollar-yen chart. That's the most important chart. If the yen starts to strengthen, that is a negative at this time. Okay, I know it used to be a positive in the past. Now it is a negative. So, again, this you got to remember, Japan is the world's third largest economy. It is very, very important. And right now, that carry trade is really what's moving things along. As we talked about before, the ES futures are down about 8.5 points, 8.75 points, so it's still a pretty decent decline. Today is a Friday. Will the market close lower by the end of the session? That's the big question. Normally on a Friday, the markets will get supported. Today, I believe there is a very large POMO by the central bank, by the Federal Reserve. I think it's $5 to $5.75 billion of a permanent open market operation, POMO. So we'll see if that can support this market. Generally, we rarely see a down Friday or a big sell-off on a Friday. If the markets are down, they're usually down slightly. The volume on a Friday will also get very, very light around the 12 o'clock hour. So right around the noon hour, watch for volume to start tapering off. We'll see if today is an exception to the rule. If we do get a sharp sell-off on a Friday, it's just hard to bank on that since we haven't seen one in so long. Let's take a look at a few other things out here. There's a lot of news coming out of Europe today. Right now, all of the European markets are pretty much lower across the board. Nothing getting hit too hard. They're down all about 0.5% or so. The FTSE 100, which is not part of the European Union, they can print their own money, down about 0.9% at the moment. So we'll see exactly how the European markets play out, but right now they're all a little bit weaker. There appears to be some economic data out right now at 8:30. Consumer spending, it looks like it dropped 0.2% in April. The market could care less about any of these numbers. The market doesn't really even care about any of this noise that's coming out. These economic numbers, everybody's worried that, some economic number is going to come out so good and the Federal Reserve will have to pull back on their quantitative easing. That's not happening. These economic numbers are really just noise, nothing more. The economic numbers out of foreign countries are more real than the economic numbers here in the United States, in my opinion. So if you look at, some unemployment data out of Italy, I actually believe it. Unemployment data out of the United States, I take it as somebody just making up an imaginary number with a pen. So I think these numbers that are coming out, consumer spending, which is the latest, nobody really buys into that stuff. At this stage of the game, it's all about the money printing. It's all about the currencies around the world. That's what moves markets. That's what you have to watch for. And that's ultimately what's going to make you money in the trading business. So again, we're not going to make too much out of these economic numbers, consumer spending, or anything like that. Later today, I believe we're also going to have the Chicago PMI survey for the month of May. That's at 9:45. And I think at 9:55 or 10 o'clock, we're going to have the University of Michigan's May Consumer Confidence Survey. I mean, come on, give me a break. How much of this stuff can we listen to? But either way, maybe you'll see some gyrations around that point. But it's all about the currencies. The currencies are really what moves markets, and I think that's what traders should focus on. Um, let's take a look at a few other things out here today. You do have a stock getting hammered today. It's this Palo Alto Networks. This stock is getting just slaughtered. It closed yesterday at $55. This is a strong gap down, trading at 47.60 right now. Traded as low as 46. I don't even have a great play on this. This is, I believe, an all-time low. The stock only debuted, came public, I should say, in July, I think, 2012. So it's really just getting hammered today. It's a strong gap down, too. So, again, it can go lower, especially if the markets trade lower. But I don't know if the markets will trade lower on a Friday, so just be prepared for that. Looking at the Japanese market, you'll see here the Japanese yen gaining strength against the dollar today. It looks like the dollar now is at 100.30, so it's a pretty good decline. The dollar against the yen. The yen is definitely strengthened, and we're seeing that happening today. So we'll keep an eye on that. As for the gold market today, you want to take a look at this. Gold has actually been holding in there, and the one thing I will say about gold today, it is down about $5 on the session to around $14.06 an ounce. So gold is a little bit lower today. Had a great move yesterday though. So again, it is down a little bit lower today. And oil is also lower. Oil is down 75 cents to $92.86 a barrel. If we take a look at the USO this morning, what you're going to see is, let's get rid of all these lines here. What you'll see is that the USO trading around that 33.25 level at the moment in the pre-market. So we're not going to make too much out of it. But again, oil is trading a little bit lower today, and we'll see how that thing settles in. As far as news goes or anything else that we talked about, just watch for slight subtle movements. I really wouldn't watch for all that much. Again, when the volume gets light, that's when the market will be able to inflate itself back up. We see that almost each and every day. In fact, we saw it yesterday as well. If we just take a look at the futures, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Yesterday we had a pretty good sell-off, and then where was it? Here we go. Let's just make sure. Here we go. Yeah, pretty good little sell-off, and then the markets just float right back up. Almost each and every day we see the same type of trend. So remember, when we get to that light volume part of the day, around the noon hour, markets seem to find a helium balloon to lift them up, and that's pretty much where we stand. So we'll see how this plays out going forward into a Friday. Normally we don't see a big down day, but you never know. We're overdue for one. That's what I'll say. We do have a couple of stocks for the gap, a couple gap plays this morning. They'll be posted up in the chat room at 9 a.m. So if anybody is interested in the gap plays, come over at 9 a.m. I think we have 2 or 3 so far, and I'll be looking for a few more, and they'll be posted up in the chat room at 9 a.m. this morning. I'm going to leave it here, short and sweet. I do want traders to focus a little bit on the Indian ADRs today. India sold off big time last night before we cut this session. The Bombay Sensex Index was down about 2.25 points last night, or 455 points. So 2.25% rather. So make sure you watch the Indian ADRs. They could be weak today. Stocks like Tata Motors could be under some trouble. Infosys is another one that could be under some trouble. You also have the India Fund, IFN. This one could be weak today. It's already trading down at 2103. So again, watch the Indian ADRs today. India sold off sharply last night, and if the markets are weak today, they could be a candidate. Those stocks could be a candidate to see lower prices. So again, just a heads up there, and we'll leave it at that. Have a great trading day. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you on the charts. Take care now.